So good evening, everyone. My name is Sherrie Gibson. I do serve currently as your state party vice chair. I'm very honored to have that job. It is an unpaid position. I have driven many, many miles. I was asked about my 100,000 miles on my car, which is funny. I said my husband knows exactly how many miles are on my car. He changes my oil. So a few things about me. Prior to being the vice chair, I ran Arapahoe's successful primary campaign and then went to Washington, D.C. to be trained. I've been trained in communications and political strategy and trained in the art of how to connect with people. I am a people person. That's why when I came in, I did shake everyone's hand. I believe that we, the people, are what's important. My plan starts with having a constitutional form of governance. I want to make sure that the county parties are empowered. I don't want a top-heavy system where we at the top in the magical kingdom of Denver tell all of the county parties what to do and how to do it. We have 64 counties with 64 unique characteristics and challenges that are different. What goes on where I'm at, El Paso County, we have topics like teen suicide and opioid addiction. Very important topics, but very different challenges than what you see in other counties. They have marijuana. We have marijuana issues in our county as well, but prevalent in Pueblo County and other places where people can harvest those plants. There are so many things that we have to be positive about. I'm going to say something really controversial. Here it comes. America first. I have to prep you because the media wants to make us believe that America first is a racist policy, a wrong policy, an un-American policy, and it's not. We want to be first. We want to show that our people are good people, hardworking people, and that we deserve to have an opportunity to make our lives better, right? It is about lifting our families up. Colorado first. I want Colorado to be the best state in the union. I want us to be the strongest, and I want our party to be the strongest. I'm the only Republican in my family. Everyone else is Democrats. Yes. Even my sister, who I love dearly, we talk every single day on the phone, and we talk about the issues. She lives in California, and let me tell you. Yeah. She is a Democrat that voted for Obama, but she wants that wall built. She sees what illegal immigration does to the country. She sees what happens for crime and education and the social systems in California, and she wants the wall built. She's willing to give the president an opportunity. That's what we're looking at this time around. Keeping our promises. That's why we like President Trump so much. He's kept his promises. He's fought to do the things that he said he was going to do, and right now he's fighting for the funding for the wall. We need the wall. We need funding. Thank you. We've got to have funding for the wall. National defense is a variety of things. It's not just the wall. It's technology in the air, drone technology. It's overstayed visas, expired visas. There are other ways. There's ports and ports of authority that we have to look at to protect our country. But the wall is a part of it. And if you have a wall around your big, beautiful house in wherever you live, why can't we have a wall around a big, beautiful country? That's the way I feel. Amen. So I am running for chair to lead the party. And I know that that sounds a little different than what most people think. Like, weren't you in leadership before? I was, but I wasn't. As vice chair, it's an unpaid position. I do not have budget authority, and I do not have decision-making authority. So there's only so many things as vice chair you can really accomplish. I had an opportunity to do a lot of things this cycle, but there's more that we have to do. We talk about the Democrats and what they did and their plan. Their plan is almost a decade old. Their plan cost about $3.6 or so million, and their plan was not paid for by their state Democrat Party. That's important. We can't shop around their plan like that's our plan, because it's not, and they didn't pay for it. It's outside. The state party is limited in what we can do by the campaign finance laws that Virginia talked about, and limited in our scope of what we can do successfully. We have to do the things the state party can do, but we have to do them well. Building our ground game, expanding our ground game actually, which includes messaging, so there's your first one. We have to have a successful message. And I say that because we communicate differently. As Republicans, we have our key words, right? Second Amendment. We talk about the life issue, low taxes, limited government. How do you have that conversation with someone who doesn't pay taxes? It's difficult to convince someone to come over to our side when they don't pay taxes. So low taxes is not an issue for them. We have to be able to talk about things like opioid addiction because that is where we win the middle. How many folks in here know that the Republicans, registered Republicans, do not have enough numbers to win? We don't. We're third in registration, independents are first, and then Dems. So we have to get the unaffiliated vote. We have to. That means talking about things that are important to them, like opioid addiction, like education, like transportation. Those are issues that we believe in and we have solutions for as Republicans, and we can coalesce around those issues with those folks. Doesn't mean to be not principled, because I am a strong principled conservative. I believe that we stand for our platform. I believe that we hold to the Constitution, we follow our bylaws. But I also believe that we find a way to communicate to people that they receive it. Even culturally, we're different in how we receive messages. That also includes, my plan also includes, building our bench for the future. Something that we don't think about. As we always think about the now game, this election, this election. It's not just about this election. What happens after we have the Senate election in 2020? We have to have a strong bench for us taking the Senate back, building seats in the House. That's what we need to be working on. We also need to be working on these council races, the mayoral races. Our municipal races is where we can take this back one bite at a time. We have to have strong candidates. They have to be trained and equipped. I don't want any candidate to feel like they're by themselves, because with me, they're not going to be by themselves. What I've done to build our bench, and I believe that starts with high school students, because we know the Dems are out there registering high school students. It starts from high school. It includes homeschool. We overlook those folks all the time. That is a key base, part of our base for us. Homeschool students and families are important, and we just need to act like they don't exist. They do exist, and they are important. What I did was take a group of kids out to Washington, D.C. with the Elbert County Chair, Tom Peterson. That's important because those kids, those high school students, they got to see history living in action. We had a World War II veteran with us. He told them stories about Patton's army and what that looked like coming up on the beaches. You don't get that perspective from sitting at home. You don't get the full perspective from reading a book. He was there. He can tell you how many bodies were laying on the ground. He can tell you what it felt like when he came home. Those are stories that we have to pass on from generation to generation. Those kids, they'll go to college. They'll be our college Republicans. They'll have strong voices. So when the folks try to tell them to shut up and get in the corner, they're not going to do that because they understand what their rights are. They understand what freedom of speech is. Then there'll be our young Republicans once they graduate, out in campaigns, doing internships, working with our candidates, learning the pipeline and process of what politics really means. Those folks will be the future candidates for our party. We have to cultivate them. We have to train them. That means a new candidate training manual. That means giving them a support system once they're out there. That means if anyone in here is thinking about running for office, get going now. And I say that because now we can get you, once you're filed officially, we can start talking to you about fundraising. We can start assisting you and helping you to build your volunteer base and helping you to get organized. Those are things that we haven't done in the past as a party. Those are things that will change under my administration. I want to take your questions, but I really want you to know that I am someone who has crisscrossed this state tirelessly. I've coached candidates in debate prep and speech presentation. I have hosted fundraisers for our candidates. I have done every part of the process. And I look forward to helping our counties be stronger. I look forward to helping our party be stronger. And I look forward to engaging all of you. I want to announce today, and I did on Facebook, that I received the endorsement of Pastor and author Tim Buchanan. Pastor Tim understands that the faith community is a big part of bringing this country back, bringing our party back. My idea involves what we do at our church. I attend Church for All Nations. We have a cultural impact team. Do you know in our church, we just had a candidate forum for city council candidates. 9 candidates showed up in the church and was able to be asked questions, to talk to folks, and it wasn't all Republicans that showed up. Democrats showed up too, a mixed electorate. That's how we draw people to us. That is the plan, because if you get the faith community back involved, not only do you put God at the forefront of the conversation, but you also start to change the culture and the heart and the conversation of our party and our country. So thank you. With that, I'll take any questions. Sir?
Sherrie, a question and then a comment after you answer, if I may. How familiar are you, and if you are familiar, would you comment on Brandon Sturck's movement, Walk Away? Are you familiar with Strack? Are you familiar with what's going on there, and if so, can you comment, and then I'd like to make a comment.
So not fully familiar with all the particulars on where they are at this point. I understand about the Walk Away movement. We have a ton of folks that are coming to the Republican Party because they see what the Democrats are not having to offer. Just a little background. I met the president long before he was ever president or even candidate Trump. My background is in real estate, and that's where I met him. And you know what? He treated me with respect and dignity. It didn't matter that I was a woman. It didn't matter that I was black. He cares about competency. If you aren't competent, it doesn't matter who you are. He wants you to be able to do the job. That's what we have to continue to put out there. That's where we have to continue to make the gains. And his approval rating's going up in the African American community because people are starting to feel the impacts of the policies. More money in their paychecks and jobs available. Jobs that they didn't even think were available.
Well, thank you. The follow-up, the comment I wanted to make is that Brandon hired a gentleman, Mike Ross, G-R-O-S-S. YouTube him if you haven't, and what he did, the reason why I'm talking about this is because what was commented earlier is that not only do we need to start reaching millennials, but obviously as a conservative black American, it is appalling to see that black folks just out of habit vote Democrat, and it's really out of habit. So what Brandon and his movement did is they went out and had this guy, I think he did a video somehow, the producer, interviewing, I think, 4, 6, 8, either 10 or 12 African-American young folks who were saying why they were walking away from the Democratic Party. After my wife brought it, after we watched that, we said, yeah, there really is hope for us. It was so refreshing. So the reason why I bring that up is we need to be doing stuff like what he's doing and getting that out there, because it was so refreshing, but it was so spot on to listen to finally folks not sounding like lemmings or things that they are, but to actually start thinking and reasoning. And it's a very powerful video. So I didn't know if you were aware of that. Maybe we start wearing their T-shirts, just walk away or whatever, pointing them to that. Because I'm telling you, it was a real eye-opener. So that's just one of the comments.
Thank you for that. You know what? People are excited about my candidacy. And it has nothing to do with being a black woman. It has everything to do with being a diverse background, having a diverse background. So I am a veteran. United States Navy. Best branch for all you Army guys out there. I know.
Who got the Marine?
I'm married to a Marine.
All right.
Our son was a Marine. My husband's brother was a Marine. His grandfather was a Marine.
There you go.
And my grandfather and then his great-grandfather, Army. Long line of military history in our family. But not just being a veteran, a small business owner, a mother, and someone who's been an activist in the community, someone who's been on the city's planning commission and helped with economic development, someone whose family has a farm. I'm a member of Colorado Farm Bureau, so I understand those agricultural issues. Donors are excited because I have the conversation that everyone should be having. Someone who can reach and connect across the board. That's why people are excited about my candidacy. Ma'am, in fact?
Hi. Since you were in office for 2 years, vice chair. Why didn't you enact more of these things? Because we lost so severely. didn't you put some of those things into practice when you were in office?
Thank you for that question, and that is a very fair question. So for those of you who didn't hear what she said, she asked if I was the vice chair for 2 years, why didn't I put some of those things in place with such a loss that we had this past cycle? And the answer to that is really twofold. The first thing is that as the vice chair, as I mentioned, we have no decision-making authority and we have no budget. So we don't just get to do what we want to do. The second part of that is when you're in this role, you have a choice to make. I had a choice to make very much like Vice President Pence. He could have went out there and he could have said, the old man's crazy, we don't need a wall. We don't need this. He could just go out and do his own thing. He could put the president out on blast and say what he wants to say and run his own agenda. He didn't do that. He chose to have his discussions in private, and he chose to be publicly unified. I made that same choice. You have to be unified when you're moving forward. You cannot be in this position and undermine the chair. You cannot undermine the legislature. You cannot undermine the president. You have to push unity forward. That's what I chose to do. The third part to that is actually a lot of stuff I did do. I did it with my own money because I didn't have a budget. My husband loves that, by the way. I did a criminal justice reform panel. We did that in Aurora. Why did I do that? To bring people to our candidate. Our nominee at the time, George Brockler for Attorney General, sat on that panel. That was the largest outreach effort that the GOP had ever conducted. I contacted everyone from the Denver Chinese Student Union all the way out to the eastern western slope. We had someone come in who was visiting from Brazil that came to our forum. So I did do that. I also took those kids to DC to do that a foundational visit for them. That was something that was not paid for by the party either. I also did women's groups and women's meetings. We went out and talked to women. I did a press conference at the state capitol. I've done so many things in my capacity. That's why I'm running to lead this party, because it is different when you're the vice chair versus when you're the chair and you have decision-making authority. With that authority, now we can start doing more outreach. Now we can start messaging to unaffiliated and bringing people in. That is a completely different ballgame. Yes, sir?
Sherrie, like she alluded to, I think the last cycle of big, major racial works was we ran away from the accomplishments of Donald Trump instead of accentuating them and pushing aside his personality, bringing his accomplishments. I don't give a damn what somebody acts like. I mean, as long as they're not a murderer, mass murderer, if they accomplish something, then, hey, sinners and saints. And you guys seem to me took the tact of letting candidates run away from his accomplishments. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And plus, I think he's setting up a political narrative that, I call him Uber Libs, the socialist bent that is now going to be a wave over this country. Will you guys support the idea of on a local level, hammering the message of this, as you're talking, redo of our Americans emulating Soviet communism. Are you guys going to implement that message? And Cory Gardner, I think the man took too much of the middle. He takes too much of the middle road. He has to take a little bit of a stand. Not maybe so we look like we're bomb throwers, but to say, hey, I support this president that accomplished things. Will you guys make the promise now to implement those messages, to accentuate accomplishments, and to turn away the tide towards socialism?
So, a little bit of a misunderstanding with the state party. We don't pick candidates. We do not. We don't pick candidates, we don't run campaigns. So their message or what they decide to champion as their platform, that's their message and what they decide. We don't have any authority to tell them, you need to be talking about this or you need to be talking about that. What I did in my capacity was I created what I called the fast key. These were my grade 8 that were around the state on the ground. They were calling and they were texting and emailing, letting me know what the conversations were being had with the Democrats and within the counties, and I was feeding that information back to our candidates. Some candidates received it and acted on it. Some candidates did not. So that's the first part. The second part is I support the president. I always have. And so that's not going to change for me. I was invited to the White House and celebrated along with the top African-American leaders in our country. There is no reason to run away. What I do say is that we do celebrate and champion the president's policies that have worked well in Colorado. Sometimes we get kind of bogged down by what's going on nationally, and we think that that is Colorado. Colorado is not the same thing as the national level. So what works for us here, what the president's done that's worked well for us here, we definitely and boldly stand on and fight for. And there was one more. Am I good?
Yeah, one more spot.
What is the power of a blueprint? What is the power of it? The power of it is really the knowledge of what they did, enacting that over the period of time, and then the billionaires or millionaires that came and put money in. The power of it is learning what they did and not saying that we can do that too. We're at a different stage. People don't realize that we didn't do what they did back when they did it. They were building relationships all along. That's why the union is so strong with them, because they took those folks in and started building those relationships. We didn't do that. They were in the black and brown communities. They started building those relationships. We as a party, we here in Colorado, we didn't do that. That's on us, and we have to own that, and we have to work from this point. Some folks are saying, we should do the same thing. We can't do the same thing because we're starting from a different place than where they started from. So for us, we have to move forward with a new plan. We have to move forward with the things that we can do and do successfully and accomplish realistically. And we have to be able to fund it. I'm very honored that our fundraisers, the donors I've sat down with, have signed on to my plan. They've written checks, they've made pledges and agreements to be able to support this plan, because this plan is different. It encompasses all 64 counties, it encompasses all of Colorado, and it gives us the party that is welcoming to everyone. This is the plan we need to move forward with. One more with that.
Can I ask a very short question?
The gap with that.
Well, the lady first.
Okay.
Sorry. So, I like you, you're beautiful. Question, pro-life or pro-choice?
Oh, I'm polite.
Socialism or capitalism?
Capitalism. I'm a business owner. Capitalism.
Well, you'll take all those questions you can get, huh?
High school, we need to get the youth. We have a lot of liberal professors and teachers teaching that, like you said, socialism is good. How, like the lady before, she said that they're going on high school campuses, registering. What exactly, like I have some time, so I am more than willing to go to these high schools, colleges, and do what I need to do to help our party succeed and back up our president. What are the rules? I mean, can I just set up a little table and be like, here I am,
We're getting too far into the weeds.
Yeah.
Miss,
like
those are better conversations one-on-one with her, or getting together with somebody. We need to let her go because she's got campaigning to do. And we'll go ahead and do this last question back here.
But I will get to your question afterwards.
Is it possible for individual registered Republicans to assist with the advertising budget for the party, for the state?
You can always donate.
How do we do that?
Oh, you can go on. You can donate. You can write
Say
checks to the
someone
party.
doesn't use computers. How can they find out about how to help?
How to help?
Yeah.
Your-
Can a mailer be sent with an address to send a donation?
So your local county party, you can look that address up, whatever county you're in, or the phone number, and then contact them, and they would be able to facilitate it. The state party, I will gladly take a check for the state party made out to the Colorado Republican Party, and then as well as going online to be able to donate. And to your point, you can help out, but you do have to ask permission, and there are different ways to do that, so we can talk about that afterwards.
What are your rights to?
We'll talk about that afterwards.
I have
All right, thanks, Sherry.
no computers because I've never used a computer.
Do you listen to the AM radio?
Yeah.
There you go. And you have a phone? Call Call 710 KNUS online. I'll give you the address right on the air.
There it is.
Any check you want to make out to Randy Corcoran will be distributed appropriately.
Sherrie with an IE, excuse me.
Now, are you staying for the meeting?
I
or are you
am.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
Are
I
you
will
staying,
be
Jeff,
here.
or are you heading out? Joe, why did I say Jeff? Did I hear Joe or Jeff?
I don't feel well. I
Okay.
apologize.
That's all right.
Feel better, honey.
Thanks, Joe.
What's your last name?
My name is Sherrie Gibson, and I would be honored to have your vote as the next state chair if you're a bonus member or a party officer. Thank you.
Thank you.